I just wanted to go ahead and welcome you to class. Thank you for coming. We are going to be learning something really important today, and that is about box plots and 5-number summaries. So you have a graded assignment today, so it's really important to pay really good attention. I did send you guys a message to make sure that you have your notes ready. I attached the notes to the EDSB post for today, the journal entry for today. You can either have printed them and there's a printable copy that says printable, or even better, there's a clickable copy that you can just kind of click and edit right on the screen, because I went ahead and added the text boxes to that. So you can go ahead and download the editable copy, okay, and use that on your computer. Okay, so make sure you have either of those today because you are going to need them. It's really important so that you know what you're doing when you go to do your graded assignment for today. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start by getting us to that PowerPoint. Okay, so here we are. Feeling much better. I apologize for not being here on Tuesday. I know you guys kind of missed having math class. I'm sure everyone was really bummed, but I was sick. I guess I had some sort of like 24-hour bug or something. But I am back and healthy, so I'm ready to go here. All right, I just want to get it to where I can kind of see myself on the screen, but not too much. I'm gonna put it up here. Okay. All right, so today we are learning something really important. Here's our agenda. We are going to be learning about 5-number summaries and creating box plots. Before we do that, we are going to have an EDSB check-in. I'm going to go ahead and show you what I'm expecting you to turn in today. Let me just admit some more people to our class. If you're just coming in, we are just checking in with what we need for class. If you're just coming in, I do recommend going and downloading the notes from the EDSB post on the journal for today, either the printable notes to print or the one that says editable to edit on your computer by just typing the answers in. So make sure you have one or the other versions of the notes. Okay, so here we're going to go ahead and check in on EDSB so I can show you the graded assignment and what I expect and all that. Then we're going to review finding median before I teach you something new, because today you're going to actually need to know how to find the median as part of what we're learning today. It's like part of it, okay? On your own time after class today, you are going to be working on an assignment for me that's a 5-number summary and box plot drag and drop activity. It's basically like a PowerPoint or a slideshow, but the pieces are all right there. You click to type in numbers and you drag and drop to create a box plot. And I'm going to show you how to do that today. It's a lot easier than it sounds. Okay, we're going to learn a lot of new stuff today. And then after class, I also want you to review what you know and make sure you know and understand how to find the following statistical measures. You need to know how to find mean, which is what you guys did for your IXL skill. And thank you for those of you that did the IXL skill. I give you guys tons of time to do it. So there's really no excuse to not do it, even though I kind of had to chase some people down. So make sure you know how to find mean and know how to find median, which you will definitely be able to do by the end of today. Know how to find mode, know how to find range. And then today we're going to learn about quartile 1 and 3 and how to find those, and also what the minimum and maximum is. And I've kind of gone over those, but that's just the least and the greatest number. So those are really easy. You need to know how to do all of those things so that you can be successful on next week. We are gonna have a quiz. Actually, it says on here Monday we're gonna have a quiz. It's actually gonna be Wednesday. So let me change that. I thought I changed it. I changed it on EDSB, but okay, there you go. So you're gonna have a quiz on Wednesday. You have your assignment that is going to be due on Monday. So let me just let a couple more people in, and then I'm gonna go ahead and share. And thankfully, Theo let me share his EDSB page today. So let me go out of this and go to EDSB. Okay, So this is a student view of EDSB. I went ahead and did the student view so that it looked more familiar to you guys. I just want to say a couple of things. I noticed in the conferences when I talked to people, some people weren't really using EDSB in the correct way. Some people were just leaving it like this, or just looking at like recent activity, the stuff in the middle here, and just coming here. And this is as deep into EDSB as they went. And so I want to show you that this is not all of EDSB. You need to be entering these classes. And to enter the classes, you click anywhere in that light blue section like this to get into math. Okay, so that's how you enter the class, so that you can see exactly what's the most important to your teacher and what we show you the most. We have things that are very important pinned, and then we have the journal section over here, and then we have like the stream of all the latest posts right here. Okay, the other thing is some people weren't going to my work. Okay, give yourself a pat on the head if you've been going into my work to see what your grades are and things like that, because you need to be. So if you go here, you hover over the class, you click into my work. Sorry, Theo, I'm going to show all your grades. You go into my work and this appears, which is so annoying to me. If you click on assessments a lot, sometimes that will appear as like the splash page is what we call it, like the thing that comes up. But unfortunately, EDSB put the graph, which is not that useful. So make sure you click to the assessments tab. And then it does the EDSB lag a little bit. And it will show a list of all of the assignments and all your grades and anything that's not graded or submitted. Maybe the teacher still has to grade it or still has to put some grades in. And it will show you what you still need to submit, what's overdue, what's not done, all of that. Oh, we're having a little EDSB lag. It's probably because, okay, there we go. Oh, it went bye-bye. There it went. Okay, so let's go back. Assessments. So here it shows things that you could resubmit. Like if I ask you, oh, you need to correct this, and then you could resubmit it over here, it would be done right here. But today I want to show you this, an upcoming assignment assessment, okay, which is your assignment that I just explained. So some kids were saying, well, how do I submit that? You go to my work, okay, and then you click this blue submit tab, and then it explains here how to do it, and then you go ahead and click this little thingy, which says browse your computer, those little two documents, I guess, and that will let you browse your whole computer and upload your file. So here, I don't know if you'll see my computer, but it'll open up to your computer and you can click the file that you, however you named it, and then it will just go right there and you click submit and you're done. Now, another way to get to that is over here, guys. If we go back, some of you might have seen the submit button 2 other places before we even went into my work. There were 2 other submit buttons that we could have clicked. So submit is like everywhere. Submit, 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 submit. You just need to make sure it's on the right assignment. Okay, EDSB, it doesn't like that I'm showing it to you. Okay, so if we go, look, right away, you see this? This is where it says next week, due, and it tells you when it's due, and it has that blue submit button. So you could just submit right here, okay? And it takes you right to it. Or if you enter the class, you'll see when I actually make an assignment, like when I put it in the grade book to notify you guys about it, it pops up in your feed, and then look, there's the blue submit button again. So anywhere you see that blue submit button attached to this assignment, that's how you can go ahead and turn it in. Okay, so that's EDSB. Now let's see what we have to do today. Today we're going to cover 5-number summary and constructing box plots. Oh, let me let some people in. Rochelle, I'm going to tell you about how to get the file in just a second. And if you're coming in late, we really haven't gone over the assignment. I was just showing people how to submit things onto EDSB, which a lot of you already know how to do because you did it with your Fibonacci projects. Okay, so here's what we're going to be covering. If you still don't have your notes out right now, you need to get them out by coming over here to the end of the post and either choosing the editable version or the printable version of the guided notes for today. Okay, printable would be if you want to print it. If you want to just edit it right onto your computer, That's, you could just type in the answers. It's right there. I made text boxes. So choose either one. Now, here's Zoom, and I apologize for the code being wrong at the beginning. I don't know what happened there. I accidentally gave you my next meeting for my team or something. I don't even know. So many Zooms, guys, so many Zooms. And then the graded assignment, I like to put things that are really important. I like to highlight them. So the graded assignment is what you're going to be working on after class today. You click this link to access it. Once you click that, you need to say make a copy, because what you want to do is I'm giving you access to a file and you're making your own copy on your computer so that you can adjust it. So click this. Okay, it brings you here. Oh, it doesn't tell you to make a copy. Okay, so you need to make a copy of it. I think you need to make a copy of it. Yeah. Okay, so it might have already made a copy for you. Anyway, I'm going to say make a copy. So if you go right here to file, you can go to make a copy. Let's just be safe. Entire presentation, and just say, okay. So now you've made your own copy of it on your own computer. This is taking you to a Google Drive type of thing. Okay, here we go. All right, so this is the assignment, and it's a drag and droppable type of thing. So here you go. So we have, here are the directions, and this isn't going to make any sense to you yet because we haven't learned it yet. But, and here is an example. And then what you guys are going to do is you're going to complete the next 5 slides. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, D, E. I numbered the slides with letters. Okay. And it says next, 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 stop. And then here are the directions for how to get it to me. Okay. How you would get it to me is you go to File, Download As. So you're dragging and dropping all of these things to make a box flat. When you're done and you've completed the whole thing, you go File, Download As, and then you choose either PDF or PowerPoint, either way. And that's what you're going to save it on your computer as. You could say final version. You could, rename it maybe so that you don't get confused and accidentally send me the blank one that you didn't use, because sometimes that happened a couple times with other things you guys submitted. So rename it like final or turn in or something like that. And then go on to the EDSB page, and that's where you're going to click submit, and that's the file you're going to submit. Okay, so you access the file by clicking the link, you make a copy of it so that you have one of your own, and then you drag and drop it around. Okay, you move it around, you change it, you finish it, and then you go ahead and go to File, Download As either a PowerPoint or a PDF, and that's what you're going to submit. Okay, it's only 5 slides, guys. It's not that big of a deal. And you have until Monday to do that. All right, so on EDSB, let's just go back and review what it says here. It also says that I want you to review what you know. I always teach you in class that you need to be reflective of your own knowledge. So make sure you know, like, oh, I understand mean. We did the IXL lesson about that. Median, I get, because after today, you're going to get median because it has a lot to do with what we're talking about today. Mode, what is that? Oh, it's the one that occurs the most. Okay, range, that one's the greatest minus the least number. Okay, and then quartile 1 and 3 is what we're going over today, and then minimum and maximum is the smallest number and the largest number in a data set. So I want you to review those and see which ones you don't understand, and if there's any that you don't understand, you need to figure them out either by going to IXL. Here's some resources. You could use IXL to practice. Look at all these IXL skills I posted here. I put them there so that you can go back and use them to review. Also, I put my YouTube channel to watch any of the lessons that you didn't understand. And then, because with math, sometimes you have to like digest the information. So it wouldn't be weird for you guys to have to rewatch one of the lessons. You can like fast forward through all my EDSB mumbo jumbo and the endings and stuff, but just get to the meat of the lesson. And, that might be beneficial to you. Also, there's Khan Academy, which is an amazing resource for 6th grade mathematicians. So here's a Khan Academy section about mean and median if you need that, and then a Khan Academy section about box plots. So you can click those as well, and that will help you. Okay. And then of course, I also attached my slideshow that I'm using today. So if you want your own copy of the slideshow for notes or something, then you can access it right there. All right, so let's go ahead and get really started here. All right, so we are back here. I want to go ahead and review statistical measures. That's what we're learning right now. And today we're actually going to start statistical displays with box and whisker plots. Whiskers. Okay, measures of center are mean, the average, median, the middle number, and mode, the one that occurs the most, the 3 M's. And then we have measures of variation or spread. This represents how values differ from one another. We've talked about range so far, which is the difference between the minimum and the maximum. And then mean, absolute deviation, interquartile range. Those are things that we're going to talk about later on. Okay. Now let's look right here. We have our focus today is making a 5-number summary and using that to create box plots. So a tip that for you to remember to help you with this is that the 5-number summary, which you already know many of these numbers, okay? The 5-number summary create 5 points on a number line. And those 5 points become the foundation to building your box and whisker plot. Okay, so it's like you take exactly where those points lie on the number line, and that's how you make your box and whisker plot. So these all really go together, okay? Before we begin with all the 5 numbers, one of the numbers, one second. First off, I just want to pause because I'm getting a lot of messages about the assignment, about things that don't have to do with what I'm talking about right now. You guys shouldn't be asking me about IXL. You guys shouldn't be asking me about the assignment right now. Right now, you need to be focused on what I'm teaching you. So no more messages about that. Wait till the end, and you can ask me questions about the assignment when I go over it again at the end. But right now, I just really want you to focus on what I'm teaching you because it's not complex, but it's very important. Otherwise, you're not going to have success on the assignment at all. So focus, young ones, focus. Okay, so reviewing how to calculate median. Median is the middle. Sometimes it's easy because sometimes there is a clear middle. When there's an odd number of numbers, there's always that odd man out in the middle, and that becomes an easy median. Okay, but if there's an even number of numbers, then you're going to have 2 numbers in the middle, and you have to find the median there. And the way that you're going to do that is you're going to remember with median, first you have to put them in order from least to greatest. That's really, really important. Okay, so you put them in order from least to greatest here. Here's another example. This is a totally different data set. Okay, here we have there's 14 numbers in this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then from the back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So in this case, we have 2 7th numbers, 8 and 9. So we're going to have to add them up and divide by 2 to get that middle number. Oh, I think I lost my favorite pen, the little stylus. Oh man, rats. Okay, so if we add 8 and 9 together and divide by 2, we're going to end up with 8.5 or 8.5. Okay, so in this case, the median would be 8.5, which is not even a number in the data set, but that's okay. Okay, it's its own thing. It's the median. It's the true middle. Okay, it's right in between 8 and 9, right there. So that would be the median for that data set. In this case, it's so much easier because there's a clear middle. Okay. What we're doing today, I'm going to go to the next slide. Don't get freaked out on me now. Okay, what we're doing is we're kind of visually breaking up these numbers. We're looking at the numbers. Think of them almost as like people standing in line and this is one thing I do in class when we're learning about this in real life. I usually have kids line up in line and we find like the middle kid, the median kid. And if there's 2 kids, it would be the middle of them. Okay. So think of them almost like people lined up. Okay, that's how we're organizing our data today, and that's what median's all about. We're not adding them together and dividing. That's mean. Okay, instead, median is all about the visual representation of where they line up in line. Okay, so we have these things called quartiles. okay? If the median is the middle, okay, what the middle does is it takes all the numbers and then it finds like the 50% mark, right? It finds the true middle where there's 50% of the data, half the data, and then half the data. Well, with quartiles, it breaks it up into quarters. So it's basically taking the upper half of the data and the lower half of the data and splitting those in half as well. Okay, just like a candy bar. So we're making fourths. So that's why we have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of a data set. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're gonna go ahead and take the numbers and we're gonna split them in half again. Okay, well, everything to the left of the median is the lower quartile. So in this case, data set A, we have 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, okay? 6 would be the median, it's the true middle, okay? We have 3 numbers to the left, we have 3 numbers to the right of the median. Well, the 3 numbers to the left, we can find the middle of them. The middle of them is 4, okay? So that middle number becomes quartile 1. Sometimes it's referred to as the lower quartile, the first quartile, okay? That is quartile 1, okay? So what we did is we basically just found the median of 2, 4, and 5, okay? So finding the quartile is finding the median of the left of the median, and then finding the median of the numbers to the right of the median, the upper numbers, okay? So over here, we can cut these in half, 7, 8, and 9, and find the true middle of those and find that it is 8. So 8 then becomes the quartile 3, or the upper quartile. Okay, so now we've got a bunch of numbers. We've got the median, and guys, another name for median is quartile 2, but really we don't call it that because it's got its own name, median. So sometimes you'll get confused because it's like there's quartile 1, there's quartile 3. Like, why did we skip quartile 2? Oh, it's the median, okay? So don't get confused there. The median is just quartile 2, but it's got a more special name, okay? So let's look at this data set B, because in this data set, this is where we have 2 middle numbers, which could happen. It could happen with the median, it could happen with the quartiles, okay? So visually, we're gonna break this in half. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. And then we have from the back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. So 5 and 6 are both the 5th number from one side and the other. So we know that they're the true middle. So we have to get exactly in between 5 and 6. Well, luckily that one you can do mental math because you know between 5 and 6 is 5.5. Okay, but if they were crazy numbers like 6.23 and 7.85 or something like that, you would add them up and divide by 2 because you're finding the mean, the average of them. You're finding the middle of them. You add them up, you divide by 2, which is what they show down here. 5 plus 6 is 11. 11 divided by 2 is 5.5 or 5.5. So the median of that data set B is 5.5, which is not even in the data set, and that's okay. Now, and I'm gonna have to use my finger, guys. This is getting serious because I lost my stylus. So I'm going to use my finger. So I apologize for that, but I have to. All right, so when we find 5.5 as the median, basically now we have to find the lower quartile and the upper quartile. Now, this is where it gets complex, okay? Up here, when we found the median, this is the middle, and then I like to use parentheses to separate these. This was the left, so we found quartile 1, and this was the right. We have the upper quartile, quartile 3. Well, here, we're gonna actually include these numbers in finding the middle. We're gonna include the 5 and the 6. Now, you would say, well, why you didn't include the 6 up here? Why are you including the 5 and the 6 down there? Well, because the 5 is not the median, the 6 is not the median, 5.5 is the median. So we're not including the median, see? But we are including the guys that were in the running to be the median, okay? Because they didn't quite make the cut, okay? So they're still part of the lower quartile, the lower end of the data set, really the left half of the data set, guys, and then the right half of the data set. Remember, we're just visually cutting this stuff into quarters. So don't make it harder than it is. It's got all these fancy names and stuff, but it's just think of a line of people, find the middle person, find the middle of the left, find the middle of the right, okay? So now here we found the middle because there's 5 numbers and 5 numbers. So we have 2 clear middles, thank goodness, right? But you could end up with 2 numbers in the middle there too. And if you end up with 2 numbers on the left and 2 numbers on the right for the quartiles that are in the running to be quartiles, you do the same thing that you would do with that we did right here. You find the middle by adding them up and dividing by 2. Okay, so if there are quartiles that are tied for the middle, add them up, divide by 2 to find them. Okay, so here we've got, I want to just go over this. Okay, so we've got quartile 1 for data set A is 4. Then we've got the median. I like to put him next because he's in the middle, okay? He's quartile 2 is 6. And then we have quartile 3. Actually, this finger thing is working out better than the pen. Quartile 3 is 8, okay? Now, those are 3 numbers. But I told you guys we were doing a 5-number summary. So we need 2 more numbers. Well, guess what? They are the easiest numbers. It's just the minimum, which is the lowest number in the data set, and the maximum, which is the highest number in the data set. And look where I'm going to put them. I'm going to actually put the minimum right here at the beginning, 2. And I'm going to put the maximum right here at the end, which is 9. And do you see how those kind of flow? Okay, so those are your 5 numbers. That's it. You got your median, the middle, and then you basically are breaking it up into 5 points. The lowest, the highest, the middle, I know you guys like that, and then quartile 1, quartile 3, okay? You're breaking it up visually into 5 pieces. All right, so down here at data set B, it would be quartile, excuse me, let me do median first. Let me do, what do you call it? Minimum first. Okay, let's do lava pen. Minimum 1. Okay, see if you are going to get this. Okay, if you get this right. Quartile 1, 2. Median 5.5. Ooh, I don't like the thin pen. Quartile 3, 8. And then maximum, the highest number in the data set is 9. So those are your 5-number summary. Okay, and that's what we're going to use to create and build box plots, which are a lot of fun. They're just a visual representation of this. All right, so let's try some out. So we've got this data set here, organizing data to build a box plot. Students in Miss Lacey's class wanted to find, and you do, well, let me say something. You do not have this on your notes, this one slide. Starting with the next slide on, you will have it in your notes, okay? This is just part of the PowerPoint, so just focus on what we have here. Students in Miss Lacey's class wanted to find the variability of their grades on the last test. Miss Lacey put the grades for her 12 students on the board. Luckily, she did this in least to greatest order already, so we don't need to put them in least to greatest order, but usually that would be the first step. Okay, now we have some questions to answer. The first, and I think I made some clickable, oh, I gotta get off drawing. Select. I think I made clickable stuff here. Oh, I thought I made a text box there. Oh, well. Okay, so I'll go ahead and just write it there. Students in Miss Lacey's class wanted to find the variability. Variability means how they differ. That's what we're doing here, okay? Put them in order. All right, what's the median? The median is quartile 2. Well, we got to start organizing this. First, we have to count it up. There's 12, right? So that means it's going to be a little evil. We're going to have 2 middles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to go back to my drawing tool. Okay. All right. So I have these 2 that are in the running to be the median, 87 and 95. What do I have to do to them? I have to add them up and then divide by 2. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and, oh my gosh, all of a sudden I couldn't add. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and go like that. And then 10, we have 18, 182. Well, I know half of 180 is 90. And then half of 2 is 1. So 91 would be the median. I added them together and divided by 2. I just divided by 2 in my head, but if you can't do that, you would go to the side and do this, okay? All right, so our median is 91. What is the lower quartile? Quartile 1. And remember, it's the median of the lower half. Well, this is where kids go wrong. What they like to do is they go like this. And that means I didn't include that 87. He needs to be included because he was in the running to be the median, but he's not the actual median. So I can't do that. So instead, I need to make sure that I'm including him when I count. Okay, hold on. Pause for 1 second. For some reason, my battery. My battery wasn't plugged in apparently, so that was dangerous. All right, we're good now. You guys there? Can someone message me to make sure that they hear me? Okay, good. Thank you. I sure hope nobody turned on video when I was gone. That wouldn't be good. Not cool. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Sorry about that. All right, what's the lower half of the data? We have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I've got now these guys that need to be averaged, okay? This is what I warned you about. This is where we have 2 numbers and we have to add them up and divide by 2. So 72, I'm gonna go ahead and use my calculator because of time purposes. 72 plus 75 divided by 2, we get 73.5 is quartile 1. 73.5. Okay, now we have to find the middle of these guys. 97 and 100. So 197 divided by 2, we get 98.5. That's quartile 3. The data values between quartile 1 and 3 represent how much of the total data values. This one, I want to skip because I'm not going to get into that today. We will be learning about that shortly. I don't want to confuse you guys. So the one that we just did, the reason why I added it in here is because it's a little bit more complex because we had to average the 2 middles in every case, in the median and both quartiles. That sometimes does occur. Okay, so now let's talk about using the 5-number summary to go ahead and create box plots. Now, if you have downloaded the notes, let me go ahead and do a new share here. If you downloaded the notes, then you have this right here, and you can just click right in. You have a clickable version. This one's not clickable. This is the printable version I have open for some reason, but you can click right into the boxes to go ahead and add all of the information. If you have the printable version, you would be writing these in. Okay, so here it says a box plot is a, one second here, resume share. For some reason, something went wrong. We're having technical difficulties today. Okay, so here it says a box plot is a graphical display of data showing the distribution of the data set. A box plot is created by plotting blank boundary values on a number line. That's going to be 5. Let me go ahead and start my pen again. That's your 5-number summary, okay? These boundaries divide the data into 4 quartiles. You know how like when you draw 5 lines, you're creating 4 pieces? Like if somebody says to cut something into fourths, you're actually going to cut 3 lines, right? Well, here we've got 5 lines because we're including the ends, the minimum and the maximum. So we've got the 3 lines, which is, your quartile 1, your quartile 3, and your median. We did the 3 lines to make fourths, but now we've also got the minimum and the maximum that we're including. These quartiles may not be the same length, but represent a quarter of the data. So that's really important, and we'll get to that more next time. But it actually is going to represent a quarter of the data no matter what, okay? So it's going to be a quarter of the data, even though it seems like they're spread apart and things like that. And we're going to get to interpreting box plots more next week. We're just building them right now. All right, so let's look at this data, and we're going to go ahead. I'm going to show you how we visually make a box plot. So these are all the same data set. First, we started with the unorganized data set, okay? They're not organized. We have to put them in least to greatest order. So then here they are put into least to greatest order. Okay, next, after putting them in least to greatest order, you're going to find the median, and then you're going to find the quartiles, and you're going to find the minimum and the maximum. Okay, so if we find the minimum, that's easy right here. And then the maximum, that's easy right there. Okay, the lowest number is the minimum, the greatest number is the maximum. Now, the first thing you have to do is find the median. You cannot find quartiles until you find the median. Okay, so unfortunately here, we've got 2 numbers in the running to be the median. So what is the middle of 60 and 64? It's 62. That's halfway. Okay, so if we add them together and divide by 2, we get 62. So the median is 62. Now we have to split the lower end of the data set. Okay, so that's in half, the lower half, and then the upper half, completely in half. You're including the minimum, the maximum, you're including the numbers in the running to be the median, okay? The only thing you never include is the median itself, okay? So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the left. So, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. They actually made a mistake here. They made a mistake. I guess people make mistakes here. Oh my gosh, I did not catch that they made this mistake. You know what they did? They did not include these numbers, but they're supposed to. Okay, so actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, these 2 numbers need to be added together and divided by 2. So 42 plus 52, 42 plus 57 is 99 divided by 2 is 49 and a half. That's quartile 1. I'll try to correct that on the slideshow. And then over here on the right, we have the same issue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to add these 2 numbers together and divide by 2. Well, what's the middle of 66 and 68? It's 67. So that one was easy. We could just figure it out. Okay, so now we've got our 5 numbers. We've got the minimum. We've got quartile 1. We've got the median. It's always going to be in this order, guys, because it's in that. It's like you're breaking it into 5 spots. Quartile 3, and then we've got the maximum. The minimum was 30. The maximum was 88. Those are easy. Now, if we wanted to find the range, we'd subtract the 2 of them. The median was 62. And then halfway, the lower half of the data, the halfway point was 49 and a half. And then the upper half of the data, the halfway point was 67. So that's our 5-number summary, and that's how we're going to build our box plot. So go back to your notes. You're about to add something into your notes now. And hopefully you got that. Guys, if you don't get part of the notes because I'm moving quickly, then you just need to go back to the YouTube video and rewind a little bit, okay? All right, so we're gonna go to creating box plots. So here you have a clickable version if you're using the editable version, and you're basically gonna label these, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and click as well. So this lower end of, why isn't mine clickable? I think because I'm sharing it. Shoot the magut. Okay. Yeah. I think when you share it, you all of a sudden can't, you can't click anything, I guess. Let me try to make a new text box. All right. It won't let me do anything fun. Let's see if I can fill it up and cover that. Yeah. All right, so let's just use this. All right, so the dot all the way to the left, can you guess what you think it would be? What was all the way to the left in our data set? Can anyone chat me what they think it might be, the one all the way to the left? Got a couple chats here. Let's see what you think. Minimum, you're right. All right, so that's the minimum. That's that first number. Okay, and that's all the way to the left in our data set. It's the lowest number in the data set, so it's all the way to the left on a number line. Notice your box plot is like this floating box. It floats above the number line. Okay, and I'll explain all the pieces to it in just a second. Now, if that dot on 6 was the lowest number in the data set, I could say, oh, 6 is the minimum because it's right above 6. Well, then what do you think this dot all the way to the right is going to be? What do you think the dot all the way to the right is going to be? Let me check my chat and see what you think. First, I'm going to fill this. All right. And that is correct. It is the maximum. Okay, so great job there, guys. So that's the highest number of the data set. So right just by looking at this box plot, I could say, oh, 22 is the highest. So if this is telling me about like, I don't know, number of participants in something or whatever it is, number of points in a game, I could say 22 is the highest amount of points, 6 was the lowest number of points. It tells you a lot. Now, here are the other 3 pieces. And I do have a couple people raising their hands, so I'm going to go ahead and call on them. Owen Manrique, I'm going to go ahead and call on you. Hey, Owen.
Oh, hi.
You there?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a question?
Yeah, I'm just confused.
What, honey?
I'm confused.
Well, because this is very, very new. So this is something you might have to go back and watch either a Khan Academy video on or go back and rewatch the lesson again, because it does take a lot to understand it, but you'll get it. It's a lot at first, even for adults. Okay, but it's you're gonna get it, I promise you. Okay, but remember, when that feeling of confusion sets in, that means you're learning. So that's the good news. Okay, when you have that feeling of uncomfortable, like that's the feeling of learning. So just always remember that, and I promise I'll get you there. Okay. And guys, remember, if you have any questions, you want to work with me more, you could always come to my office hours between 2 and 3, and we can do that together. All right, so the lowest number of the data set, the highest number of the data set. This is the first time you've ever seen a box and whisker plot. We're just labeling it for notes, so calm down, guys. I haven't even showed you how to make it yet. All right, now this point right here, all the way to the left, is going to be quartile 1. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a text box for quartile 1. And I'll fill it with a different color. How about that? Please be patient. I'm sorry that these are already done and then they disappeared. Okay, so quartile 1, sometimes called the lower quartile, okay, and that's the middle of the lower half. Then that means the end of the box over here is going to be, oh, now that works. Oh, well, quartile 3. Okay, so quartile 1, quartile 3, but since I'm a little OCD about things, I want to make this the same color because, of course, let's see if we can make it the same color. Okay, all right, and then what do you think this is? This one that is minimum, maximum, okay? Quartile 1, quartile 3, then what is this guy here? Let's see what people say about that. It's the median. You're exactly right. We'll make it a different color. Now, here's the question I get most of the time when we are talking about, some people wanted it green, so I'm going to make it green. When we're talking about this, the thing I get most of the time is like, wait a minute, if that's the median, why is it not in the middle of the box? Well, because the number wasn't. Remember, this is, we're doing this over a number line, so it might not, it's the middle of the data set, it's the middle of the line of numbers, but it's not going to be necessarily the middle of your box, okay? but the line inside the box will always be the median. And I'm sure you've seen this on like map tests and stuff, where they ask you, what's the median? And they give you this floating box. That line in the middle is the median, okay? So when we go to create a box plot, you have to start with the number line. Either you create the number line or it's there for you. In the case of your assignment today, it's already there. And then your lower point, okay, is going to be your minimum. You put a dot there. Your highest point is your maximum. You put a dot there. You put a dot at the quartile 1 above. So quartile 1 was 12 in this case. You put a dot at quartile 3. In this case, it was 20. And then you put a dot at the median. Those are your 5 dots, and that creates your 5-number summary. You already have to find the 5-number summary. That's the first step. But then once you find it, you put your dots on the number line, and then those become the box. The box itself is the quartile 1 would be the left side of the box. You draw a line. Quartile 3 is the right side of the box. You draw a line. Then you draw a same size line on the median, and then you just connect it to make a box. Okay, and I'm going to model this to you. And then guess what? This is where the whiskers come in. So then the whiskers are lines that go out to the lowest and the highest reaches of the data set. So we go all the way to the minimum, all the way to the maximum. But most of your data set, well, really half of your data set, the middle of your data set is going to be right there in this box. So that's what they're trying to show you, is that this box is, so anywhere between 12 and 20 is where good average, a good middle of your data set is. That's your middle half of the data set is right there in that box. And then you got some people going all the way to all the way to 6, some people going all the way to 22, but those are like not the average. The average would be like 12 to 20. Okay, so that's what a box plot shows. So here are the steps. I put them here for you so you can go back and look at them, whether you're using a PowerPoint or whether you're just watching the video. You order the set from least to greatest. You find the 5 boundary points. Sometimes we call it the 5-number summary. Okay, minimum, maximum, quartile 1, quartile 3, median. You graph them on the number line. You draw a box from quartile 1 to 3. Okay, so quartile 1 to 3 would be your box. And I'm going to model this for you. And then you draw a vertical line through the median. That's that line that goes inside the box. And then you draw whiskers, okay, from quartile 1 to the minimum and from quartile 3 out towards the maximum. The whiskers go to your minimum and your maximum. And we call these box plots, but they're really box and whisker plots, okay? But it's like a nickname is box plots. Rainbow pen. Okay, we got some people wanting the rainbow pen. So I'll go for the rainbow pen. All right, let's see here. Rainbow pen. All right. So here, should be on your notes. We have a data set. The problem with this data set is not ordered in least to greatest. So you need to click here inside, which, let me go back to click. Okay, you got to click inside here to go ahead and put them in order from least to greatest. So let's do that right now. So 55 would be the lowest. Click inside if you're using the editable version. 62 is next. Then we have 72, it looks like. 72. Then we have 77. And if I get this wrong, just apologize. I tell you, sometimes the easy things go bad. 83. Then I have 84. Then I have 86. Then I have 90, looks like. Then 94. Then 96. And then the last one is 100. Now, in this case, I had boxes for you, which made it a lot easier. But if there's not boxes, you need to count or check off or cross off while you're doing it. Otherwise, you're going to make a mistake. So you could, check them as you go to make sure you did all of them. or you can cross them off as you go because there might be some duplicates. In this case, we didn't have any duplicates. Now, I made this really easy for you guys because I kind of labeled it because I wanted you to see it for your notes, how it's organized. But I'm going to still talk it through for you, okay? There were 5 and then 5 and then 1 in the middle. So that means there's 11 numbers in this data set. So there's a clear number for median. So that's our middle number. 84 is median. So I'm going to go over here to my 5-number summary, and I'm going to click it. I'm going to add 84 for my median. That's my middle. Then my minimum and my maximum are really easy to find. The minimum would be 55, and then the maximum would be 100. Okay, so those are easy to find too, minimum and maximum. Now, let me get back to my rainbow pen, minimum and maximum. Then notice I added brackets. You could use parentheses, but that's how you're going to then focus in on the lower half of the data set and the upper half of the data set and finding the middle of those. Okay, these both have 5 numbers, so we have a clear middle. So the middle of the lower half is 72. So that's your quartile 1. You're basically finding the median of the lower half and the median of the upper half. So then over here on quartile 3 would be, we have 86, 90, 94, 96, 100. The very middle of that is 94. So that's your quartile 3. So now let me go back so I can click. So quartile 1 would be 72. And quartile 3 would be 94. And notice that these numbers they should go in least to greatest order if you have them in this order. Minimum, quartile 1, median, quartile 3, maximum. They go right in this order. Well, this is going to be what we use to create our box plot. So now I'm going to draw. And if you are doing this on the computer, you can go to draw, okay, on Microsoft Word or whatever you're on. Or you can just like add this later, but there was really no way, unless I added a box and whisker plot, I might have added that for you guys to drag over. If I did add it to drag over, you can drag it over and see how it works out. I can't remember if I actually added that or not. All right, so I'm gonna model to you how you draw it on paper, okay? So 84 is the median. So I'm gonna look at, that's usually the first thing I do. So 85 would be like right there. So 84, and you're just eyeballing it, guys. And it's a floater. It's a floating line. So that's my median. That's going to be the middle of my box. Then that's the median right here, okay? Then the left side of my box is going to be quartile 1, like this, boom. Okay, and the right side of my box is quartile 3, boom. So I need to find 72 and just eyeball it. And it's floating. I draw a line there, and then I draw a line at 94, which is about here. You're eyeballing it. Okay, that's my box. Connect it. You need sound effects for sure. Now, in this case, the median kind of looks halfway in the box, but sometimes it's all the way to the left. Sometimes it's all the way to the right. That middle line can be anywhere in the box. All right, now we got to draw our whiskers. So here's our box, just to kind of visualize it, guys. Okay, then the whiskers are going to go out to the minimum and then out to the maximum. Okay, so minimum is 55. So it goes bloop, bloop. Okay, that's not the straightest line, but we're going to deal with it. And then the maximum is going to be a short whisker to 100. Boop. Okay, and that's your box plot, guys. It wasn't that bad. Okay, so it's just, you're just visually representing how to do it. So you have your left line is your quartile 1, your right line is quartile 3, your inside the box line is your median. You connect them, bloop, 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 to make a box, and then you put whiskers out to the minimum and whiskers out to the maximum. Okay, and it's a floating box, and that's it. And we're going to talk about interpreting these, but it's all about like a secret code. Really, math, half of math is about being a secret code. So you're just looking at this and saying, oh, I can look at this and know the median is about 84, 85. Now, is someone going to know that's 84? No. that might be 83.5. We don't know that that's not a decimal, okay? But they know that it's about 84, 85. It's an estimate type of thing, okay? They can look at quartile 1 and say, okay, that's about 71, 72, something like that. They're not going to be able to guess exactly, okay? But what they're going to be able to focus on is the box. And they could say, okay, most of the scores, the quiz grades, were in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Okay, and they could just know that. Now then they can say, well, what was the lowest score? Oh, that was about 55. What was the highest score? Oh, somebody scored 100. Okay, so they can look at this box and just know all those things. That's what's cool about box plots. Now let's go. This one is not on your notes. I don't think we're gonna have time to do this one though. That's why I kind of added it in there, because I don't think we're gonna have time to do this one. I might go back and do this one later and add like a little video, like a little extra video on my own without Zoom. So I'll try to put that in this example in that, okay? Let's go to the graded assignment, and I'm gonna do one of the examples for you so that you know what you're doing, okay? So the graded assignment, remember, is a drag and drop activity. It's a PowerPoint type of activity. It's a slideshow. You're gonna make a copy of it. Okay, you have to go to make a copy, and then and you might have to go to file for that. I thought it would just pop right up, but it doesn't. Some people were saying, well, you can't edit it. You have to make a copy of it, and then you can edit it, okay? You can't edit my version that everyone's accessing, but you can make your own copy of it first, and then edit that, okay? So it's gonna look like this. We're gonna do this example right now. So the way, how do I even get to this activity? Remember, it is on Edsby. So I'm going to go ahead and get you there by going right here. You would click this little link right here, and I'm going to go to a different one that I have prepared because it is not already done, because that one's already done. So let me see, Zoom modeling. Okay, this is it. So this, on your version, the example is going to be already done so that you could use it for reference. But on my version, this is not already done. Okay, and here are your example, here are your directions. Here it's all mapped out for you. I have it labeled right here for you. Okay, remember, go to File, make a copy first, say entire presentation, so that you can edit it. Okay, so then this is the one that I'm going to go ahead and do. Okay, so the first thing you do is you make sure these numbers are in least to greatest order. I forgot to remix these up, so they're already done, but they weren't done. So what you would do is you'd go like this. You order them by dragging them around, okay? Like I said, these, I forgot to remix them up. But you drag them around until they're in order. They don't have to be perfectly lined up, so don't get crazy about that. All right, so they're in least to greatest order now. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, I'm so excited. Why? Because there's a clear middle, okay? So 10 is definitely the median. So I can go down here to 10, to median, and type 10. Okay, you just double click right there and you can type it in. Now for minimum, I can double click right here and say 7, because that's the lowest number in the data set. For maximum, I can double click and type 13, because that's the highest number in the data set. The part that's the most confusing to you guys, or the most new to you guys, is finding the quartiles, okay? So one second, let me read this. Will you do that? Yeah, this one's an example on yours, so just chill. I'm doing the example. So watch me do the example, guys, okay? So quartile 1 and quartile 3, that's going to be the middle, and I don't know if it's going to let me draw on this because they don't want me to do that, because that would be too much fun. Oh, here, scribble. Okay, so if I'm going to draw these, because these help me. Oh no, it does not like me scribbling. Okay, so I'm going to draw. I'm going to go ahead and draw parentheses because they help me, and they're all different in their own way. So, oh my gosh, look at that guy. Whoa. Okay, sorry about him. All right, so now I organized my data so that the median is not included. Now, remember, you include the numbers that are in the running to be the median if there's 2 of them, but not the median itself. So 7, 8, and 9, the true middle here is 8. So that's quartile 1. So I'm going to put 8. And then the true middle of over here is 12. So there you go. You're just finding the middles of the lower half and the middle of the upper half of the data. Now let's make our box and whisker plot. You're going to see all the pieces here. This is a deconstructed box and whisker plot. Okay. You're going to put dots at the minimum. So I'm going to go to the minimum and look at your 5-number summary. That's 7. That would be right there. And then you're going to find your maximum, which is 13 here. Okay. And then you're going to put your box, and you're going to have to adjust the box. So at first it's going to be weird. So I'm going to start my box at 8. So I'm going to just focus on it being at 8. This box is exactly the right size. But if it wasn't the right size, you come here and adjust the size of the box. Okay, so that it's going from your quartile 1 all the way up to your quartile 3. Okay, so this goes from 8 to 12. So boom, 8 to 12. And then I need to put the median in the middle. Okay, so at number 10, this one happens to be right in the middle, but it's not gonna always visually be the middle. Okay, and then here are my whiskers. Now you can adjust the size of your whiskers because obviously that's too long. And if your whiskers are a little cockeyed, I'm okay with that. Okay, so that's one whisker. And then I'm gonna adjust the size of this because he's too long. And this is another whisker, and he's gonna go there. And boom, that's your box plot. Okay, that's all you have to do. That was the example, so that's already done in yours, but you're just doing 5 of these, 5 slides. I'm going to remind you the most important part, and that is to read the directions. It says order them from least to greatest. If you do this whole thing without ordering them, that would be very sad because that would make you have to resubmit it again. Okay, this is for 50 points. So make sure that you are focusing on all the directions and you know what you're doing. Okay, so I know I'm going over time and I know it's a little late, but I want to make sure that I'm teaching you guys. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop there. Reminder that the graded assignment, how you go through this, if you need to read these directions again, that's okay. Graded assignment is due Monday night. Submitted through EDSB in my work. Try not to EDSB message it to me because then it could get lost in the mix. So please try to submit it through my work in that big blue button, and also review what you know about all these things: mean, median, mode, range, quartile, because you are having a quiz on Wednesday. All right, guys, I miss you. Make sure you come to my office hours between 2 and 3 if you have a question, not necessarily just to hang out, but if you really have a question, because I want to help you guys and I'll help you make box plots. All right. See ya. Bye. Thank you for staying so long. See ya.